Good evening and welcome to Stupid O'Clock News. I'm Lewis Lee. Dateline, Orange County, Florida. Two Florida women, one 34, the other 44, were caught pretending to be elderly so they could get their second COVID-19 vaccination. That's right, their second. The pair, identified as 34-year-old Martha Monroy and 44-year-old Olga Ramirez, dressed as old ladies, managed to fool health officials 3 weeks ago and get their first vaccinations. How that happened is currently under investigation. But when the pair came back for their second booster shot, they were found out to be frauds. The women were not arrested, but they have been banned from the facility and will be charged with trespassing if they return again. Not satisfied with the decision, law enforcement made a gang of elderly residents from the nearby Shady Acres retirement home, found the pair and pummeled them with their walkers, even taking the tennis balls off the ends of the legs before swinging the aluminum bringers of bruises. That's the news. Let's start the show.
I like
don't piss off a bunch of old people.
No, they're old for a reason.
They're old for a reason.
And life in prison is no longer
actually
of a deterrent as it once was.
Update about that, by the way. I've noticed that I don't know if it's in Hamilton County yet. I don't know if it's in any of the counties that we currently live in. However, I do know I've seen it in counties north of Mont Eagle that I have to go to for my new route. Walmarts are now doing COVID vaccinations
all over Tennessee.
And the one place that I was at, the pharmacist who was doing the vaccination was being very, very, very gentle with all of the patients who were coming in and being like, please sit down just in case you have any reactions. We want to make sure you're good. Wait 15 minutes. I mean, he's doing the whole thing. It was very, very sweet and polite. And that made me very happy to see, man.
Well, I got my shot in my car, and the gauge needle that they're using is so small, you don't even feel that thing going in. It's really not bad at all. And yeah, even with the drive-thrus, they'll have you pull over to a side parking area, and they make you wait 20 minutes. Make sure you're not going to have a reaction before they'll let you go. So, yep.
John, am I the foe?
What?
John said, "Hey there, friends and foes." I was like, "Am I the foe?"
That's how John introduces himself and says,
maybe FAUX, foe.
Yeah, I volunteered to be the foe. Okay.
You're not a real skunk.
Yes, it's me and skunk foes. Hey, Lewis,
well, I've never smelt you, so you know.
Lewis, do you know if they're giving if they're doing the vaccines in schools?
No.
I can remember when I was a kid in fourth grade, I was going to Hickson Elementary School, and the swine flu came out, that big scare that they had back then. They gave us all vaccinations in the school lunchroom with everybody lined up.
Yeah. We did the same thing when I was in elementary school way back in the 60s. But yeah, there's so many anti-vaxxers and other reasons why not to. I think we had it. I think we had it better before because, with those mandatory vaccination programs, we eliminated polio and damn near eliminated measles altogether
If only we could have
by
eliminated
making every school kid get the vaccination at school.
I went to.
I've got the scar.
It wasn't even that long ago, right? And I don't have any scars from mine. I don't even have scars from mine that I got. But I got the MMR, and there was a few other vaccinations I got too. I remember they'd line all the students up, and everybody would go through one at a time, and you get your vaccination. It was just it was a common thing. That's what we did, and now I hear that the parent has to go take the child to go get vaccinated. I'm sitting there looking at that going like, why? They do it in school. And then realizing, the anti-vax. This, by the way, has gotten me thinking. I want to put on my thinking cap for a minute. I had an idea, but I need to see something first before I go promote my idea. And Joe Dog, if you would please, can you put up the Rising Tide Network?
Oh, yes.
Broadcasting network.
Let's get that.
Get that off the plate.
Yeah, get that off the plate for me.
I want to see it. I want to see it for a reason. So please bring it up. Let's talk about it.
And I realized I've got the error card, which is a collector's item now. It's supposed to be creative as hell, not clever as hell. And that is actually moving to every Thursday night starting real soon. What?
I had an idea. But unfortunately, Miss Amy, it might be something we just do on Saturdays. I don't see any other Saturday stuff. I had an idea popped into my head.
All right.
Gary? Yeah. Well, you know what? I came up with the idea that Stupid O'Clock, this show is supposed to be fun. We're supposed to have fun here. We're supposed to talk about geeky stupids. It's like you said, the having the conversation at the convention at Stupid O'Clock. We're all it's room parties are going on. We're sitting in the con suite. We're just having a drink and shooting the shit. And we're just not. It's not supposed to be a super serious conversation about super serious things, right?
Yeah, sometimes we stray there.
We do, and that gave me a thought. I thought, what if we had a show that we could broadcast before Stupid O'Clock? That would be the concept that popped into my head, and Dan and John, Joe will all know what I'm talking about when I say this. Lewis, you won't, but we'll catch you up to speed. Mad Scientist panel. All three of you and myself have all been in the Mad Scientist panel. We know how heated that gets.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen Frank Fry and Anita Ward at each other's throats, about to kill each other over some disagreements about some political crap. And that's what I think. I think like maybe we should have a show where we can do that, where we can talk about the things you're never supposed to talk about in polite company, on the agreement that all of us that are here on this show and anybody else that we bring in on the show, we're all good friends and we understand we can have the difference of opinion, but be able to talk about those very uncomfortable things, get it out of our system, wait 5 minutes, come into Stupid O'Clock with smiles on our face, drinks in our hand, and want to celebrate life and friendship. That was the idea that I had, and I wanted to get your guys' opinions on it. Real quick, just to clarify for Lewis, the Mad Scientist panel was a thing that what was his last name? Grossman? No, that's the character from
Les Johnson.
Johnson. Yeah,
Les Johnson.
Les Grossman's the character from Tropic Thunder. Les Johnson hosts the Mad Scientist panel where they'll go through a couple of different topics, and it's literally 40 people in a room. It's like Congress. It's 40 people in a room, and every single one of them has an opinion. They want to argue it. It's great. It's a lot of fun. And like I said, it gets pretty heated in there sometimes. There was, I don't even remember. Oh, I know what it was. It was we got on a subject that for some reason related directly to libertarianism. I remember that much. Frank was at the time period big libertarian, Anita was a big Republican, and they were trying to murder each other over it. It was hilarious. Because Anita, to her credit, wasn't backing down against Frank at all. And I was just caught in the middle of it too, being like, stop yelling. I love both of you.
I like Les because he is the official scientist of LibertyCon.
Hey, he's not just a scientist, he's a rocket scientist.
Yeah, rocket scientist. All right, we got somebody sitting backstage that we've never had on the show.
I see that. That's why I pointed down.
A virgin?
Yeah.
A virgin?
A virgin. We're
I don't think
break him in right.
Oh, God, no.
He doesn't look like a virgin.
All right, we got Dave Watson.
Hey.
Hey,
Hey,
good to
Dave,
see you again.
Have you
Good
got
to see you guys.
Dave, do you have headphones? Put headphones on.
Helps if you have headphones. It kills the echo. Yes. All right.
Give Dave a second. He'll be right back.
All right. We'll pull him down to go grab some headphones.
Or in the audio settings on StreamYard, he can say echo cancellation. He obviously didn't have that checked.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to have because
And
John's not using headphones. I'm not using headphones.
I think what he did is he was actually watching us on
Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah, because it
and
did sound
StreamYard
delayed.
at the same time. So you were hearing the Facebook or you.
Yeah.
And just so as he gets his headphones.
If you've
strapped
got
on.
StreamYard up and you're also watching on Facebook, turn the volume on the Facebook off.
Or just like Judy O'Neill says,
Hey.
please turn your TV down.
Hey, guess what? Guess what? I want to do this real quick. I can actually. Oh no, it's not letting me. He needs to unmute first.
You know, that's something
Yeah, he's
StreamYard
muted
needs to
himself.
have.
Yeah, Dave,
where the
unmute
moderator
yourself real
control
quick.
the volumes.
I had Facebook on too. Is this better now?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Yeah, there we go. All
He
right.
got it.
Yeah,
There we go.
that
Okay.
was where it was. It was bouncing between Facebook and your thing. It was doing a loop. Sorry about that.
And if we do ever have somebody come on the show who doesn't have the echo cancellation on, we can go in there and manually turn it on. I just found that out.
Okay.
Manually? We have a switch?
I have a switch.
Okay.
John, you might have deleted your cookies again.
I think he
Well,
just
thank you
ate.
for letting me in. It's a pleasure being here.
All right, Dave. We
Dave,
just
thanks for
have
joining
fun.
us.
We try not to get political. We do our best not to get political. Sometimes it happens, but we try. Once we realize we've gone political, one of us will start changing the subject to guide us back on the rails of nonsense.
But Joe Dog, that was that was pretty much my whole entire thing. Let's to have a platform for us to be political if we want to, just not here, on StreamYard, but not here. What do you think about that?
If you Skunk, you got a StreamYard account. If you want to do it, go for it.
I don't know if I'm the best person to moderate that. I think that's the reason why Lewis is laughing at me.
Let me put it to you this way: 3 hours.
That's having the insane running the asylum.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. Oh,
John, you okay?
Oh man,
Says,
oh no. What?
move south.
Oh,
Oh wait, that doesn't work anymore either. Shit too.
all right, John, you have a
You
good night.
Please take
South,
care of
like
yourself,
Ecuador.
brother. Take yes, exactly. Ecuador.
And one of the things I got to brag, Michaela Jade went to Davenport, Iowa today to a little con that's set up in a mall. And she has 3 books in print and only have a few of everything left.
Oh.
She had a table full at the beginning. And she says, not only have
I saw a photograph on Facebook.
Yeah, I paid for my trip over here plus food and gas. And she has one more day of QuadCon.
Well, that's awesome, man. It's great. Let's thank you
Awesome.
for Brian. That is not what I meant. Hold up, real quick before we go to John, Brian. That is not what I meant when I said that.
Yes.
He's saying you're not being qualified to run a show makes you the perfect person to run it. No, I'm not qualified to run for the show because, as anybody here will attest, I have my very strong political opinions. I can sit there and argue with the best of them about what I believe. I think we need a more neutral party to be. Me being somebody who's respectful to hear other people's opinions is one thing, because I am, but I will fight for my own personal political opinion. I think we need somebody who either doesn't care or is way more accepting of political opinion than I am. That's what I'm saying.
I have a thought that we need a new political party, a third party, because the two parties that we alternate putting in power, both have become so fiscally irresponsible that it's actually endangering everyone. When we go broke, we're going to have some serious problems on every level of society. So,
yep. And it is one of those things where that starts in the grassroots, man. We won't have a political party, because there's a lot of third parties, but none of them will be able.
None of them are viable.
Yeah, none of them will be able to take over the reins of being an actual third party versus everybody else without there being some grassroots support at the local level. So this is why it's important to get involved in your local elections. And I think that's enough politics talk for the night. I didn't mean to really bring it up to move into that. That's why I want to have a separate show.
Well, I've always said that the United States government only has two problems: the Democratic Party and the Republican Party.
Yep.
Get rid of all them, and the government will run fine.
It's really hard to know, because to balance the budget, we have what, $3 trillion. We just printed $3 trillion during this COVID thing. I mean, we just borrowed it. We just made it up. And at some point that money is going to cause inflation or other problems, but technically it all has to be paid back. No one is talking about paying back the money we just spent.
Brian's encouraging me to do bad things.
Okay, that's Brian's specialty.
John threw up something. Dave,
oh yeah, the 3 questions.
The 3 questions. And since you're sort of a first timer and a guest, the questions are: who are you? What do you do? And how the hell are you? And why the hell are you here?
Well, I am Joe Dog's
How'd you get
friend,
suckered in this?
and I know Skunk. So that's kind of
well, Dave, you know Dan and John as well. They go to Liberty.
Yeah. But I know you do better.
That's true.
I'm in Huntsville. I currently don't look like it, but I work for the United States Army as an attorney, and I help the Army buy things. So
I didn't know that about you, Dave. I didn't know you were an attorney.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to believe considering how much I drink during the cons.
So
if you guys don't know, Dave is also a very talented musician. So you do
contracts for the military, basically?
Yeah.
The last thing I think of is a musical lawyer.
Hey, John, now you know who to blame.
No, I know who to blame. I'm pretty sure it's not the contract lawyer.
But I am not representing myself here as an Army employee. It is totally just to put that on the record. I am not representing the United States Army on this show at all in anything I say or do.
I'm pretty sure he's not one of the guys who bought the $10,000 toilet seat. Okay.
Dave reminded when he said that. It reminded me of. He reminded me of all the guys who would show up at DEF CON, which is the security and hacking. It was basically the hacker convention, but it was the security and safety convention for all the people that are in the security industry that it happens in Las Vegas. And every time somebody would go up there and be all like, "Hi, I'm so and so. This is my proof. This is everything about me. These are the companies that I work for." And then they would then say, "I do not represent any of these companies in anything that I say."
All right.
I mean, it is a disclaimer I have to say because it's true. I'm not allowed to represent the Army. Only public affairs people and generals are.
Yeah.
All right. I'll be right back. Got to take care of some stuff.
Yep, it's
Dave Watson,
time for Donna's
not
medicine.
authorized to represent the United States Army, made this statement.
But
The opinions
but anyway.
expressed on this program are not representative of our employees.
Damn, Dan, you suddenly went up in volume. That was scary.
Hell, I was just talking louder. I projected a little bit.
Yeah, you did. It was very, very hot mic. Very hot mic.
Well, this thing is for a $20 headset. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I just got a new
So-
website that I thought works pretty well too. I'm not sure I've got it the right location, but it's a Logitech.
Logitech. They make some good stuff. I use a lot of their stuff. So, what you going to bring to the table tonight, Dave?
I don't know. What do you want? I'm a wannabe writer. I've written 3 novels, a couple short stories.
Then you're not a wannabe writer. You're a writer.
I got honorable mention in my first short story sent to the Writers of the Future. I've got one more there. I'm in competition for, again, their first quarter with a story called Release the Kraken, which is a science fiction story. I read some of the stuff from, I want to enter Bane's fantasy contest, which I think ends in April. The deadline is April, I think. And but so I was reading some of the short stories that won, and they've got some good writers there. Some of the short stories are excellent.
Competition?
What?
Yeah, I don't do much fan. Just understand. That's some quality work going on there.
Have you guys discussed the whole thing about Bane's bar that blew up the last couple days?
Oh yeah, what the heck was that? I mean, is that just some jerk doing the cancel culture thing, or is there actually like a grievance that needs to be addressed? So far, all I've seen is a bunch of, "Oh, you can't do that, jerks." Some jerks.
Yeah, there was a lot of. The result was Tony was the guest of honor at the Worldcon, and they canceled her. So the attack did work. If the goal was to get rid of Tony from being the world, the editor guest of honor, then it worked. I mean, she shut down Bane's bar while they're trying to look at what's been done. But the DisCon 3, I guess it's called, canceled her. So she's not going.
And
a bunch of people decided they're not going to go to this Worldcon because of it.
They instantly, by doing so, derailed the what is it, 1632? The entire group that was writing stories in is that David Weber's?
1632 isn't David. David Weber's the Honor Heritage series. 1632 is Eric Flint.
Eric Flint. I knew it was one of them, but I couldn't remember which one. I have seen you so often that I don't even think about them anymore. I have looked into this a little bit, proper research, but apparently the guy that published the accusation had just had a book rejected by Bain.
Really?
Within a few days, here comes his accusations, and people jumped on the bandwagon and were also not doing a lot of research and tossing similar accusations out. And I'm going, I know a lot of those volatile political opinions across a wide spectrum. And if they're arguing with one another, they're going to be very openly opinionated and not afraid to express themselves. But none of that is is ever meant to reflect on Bain as a publisher or Tony. That's a bunch of people in a chat room talking to each other. Now,
Yeah, I always felt that the people on Bain's bar were educated enough or out there enough to properly mock anybody who deserves proper mocking.
Well, I think where Tony messed up is allowing her brand to be one thing for the authors to band together, and say in their group, but by her putting the corporate name on there didn't help.
Well, Bain's Bar has been open forever.
Yeah.
It's like the bar. Anything goes there. I mean, you want to fight with other people. They've even got apparently chat rooms in the bar that are designed for people just to have at each other.
Yeah.
little private rooms.
The bar is set up with different. Is it rooms or how's it set up, Joe Dog?
I've never been.
It's set up where there's like different places you can go, and there's different topic. Each kind of sub room is usually has a topic or a theme.
Well, it's something we opinionated about, but I don't think any of us here know that much about the actual matter of everything that's going on. So maybe we should just step away from them, go on to something else. I don't know. It's not like we're going to get in trouble, but I don't want to make it worse.
I could read you my story that Tony rejected.
Oh, so now we know who it was.
Oh, we've known who it was for a long time, and it's not Dave.
So
that one didn't take long for the sleuthing to uncover.
What, Joe?
What shirt? Somebody says nice shirt, Lewis. I was trying to figure out what. Oh, it was just John. Never mind.
Wait, what about my shirt?
I had to take my fleece off. It's getting too freaking hot in here.
Yeah.
What about my shirt? Look at my shirt.
And this is my shirt from Camp Holiday.
Well, it's the
look like
in Minnesota.
Skunk, you look like monochrome. Monochrome. Where's Waldo?
Hold up, what, Joe Dog? What were you gonna say?
It's the wrong color.
No, it isn't.
It should be red and green, not.
Hold on.
Gray.
No, it isn't. No, Joe, do you want me to prove this to you?
Oh, you got your green screen on?
Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. I want to show you something. Okay.
Dave,
He's using your tricks.
No, hold on. It has nothing to do with that. This is different.
It's me holding on. Let's go.
I gotta bring it up. It's in images. Hold on. All right. And let me just open image in a new tab and zoom in. And now I can share the image off my screen. Boom.
No boom.
Oh, wait. Boom. There we go. I have to hit that button first.
Oh, it's a slow boom.
You've been pulverized.
See? It's the right color.
Under that lighting, yeah.
Well, that's black and white. That scene's actually it's really cool how they did that. That's actually technically that's not black and white. They actually made a grayscale, a monochrome sweater, and they even did his makeup in monochrome as well. If you watch the movie, the only thing that's in color on Freddy is his eyes because they can't recolor the eyes. That's the comic book scene from Part 5, which is my favorite movie. When I saw when I saw the sweater in Walmart, I was like, I have to buy that immediately. Like I had to have it. I was like, it's my Super Freddy sweater. That's what I call it because it's the So it's the black and white. It's the black and white Freddy sweater, and it's not what it is. It's not what it's supposed to be either. It's literally just supposed to be a sweater that you purchase. It's just supposed to be from. It's just a regular everyday sweater you buy at Walmart.
No, Dave.
But I like to think it's the other way. Now the green screen thing is actually is that let me turn the fade off, and boom, there we go. I could change the color of it to green, and my lenses too.
Yeah, cool. All right,
but yeah.
Yeah, I was wearing a green plaid shirt today, so I had to take it off and put the sweater on to keep from
if you fade that back just
blending
right,
into the shirt.
fade it up, a little more. Ming the Merciless.
Yeah.
I was
bring it back. Yeah, bring it back.
I was saying it looked rather.
Little more.
I was saying
more.
it looked rather Klingon myself.
You missed
You
it.
look
Right.
like
There it
Ming
is.
the Merciless.
There it is. Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, if you go just the right amount. Yeah,
Well,
Ming the Merciless, or actually, Joe Dog. You know who I was thinking of? General Zod.
Oh, that would work too.
I've been trying to get a Fu Manchu. I'm not sure I've achieved it.
No, you definitely don't have a Fu Manchu, Dave. You've got more of the especially with that vest, you've got the biker handlebar.
Yeah, but there's the center thing, and but yeah, you're right. I haven't done it right.
You look like you're ready to ride with Sam Crow there. If I'm the only person that knows that reference, okay.
Is that the stupidest thing? Did you guys hear that Allegiant Airlines has put in a flight from Chattanooga to Sturgis? Who the hell's going to Sturgis?
Flight that'll carry
and if you're going to Sturgis, you're riding a bike.
Yeah, exactly, Lewis. I was about to say that.
Well, if you're going to Sturgis now, you might be riding a gurney because last time they gathered, it was a super spreader and half the people got sick.
Hey, bikers are too big and strong to get sick from some little wimpy disease.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right though. Any self-respecting biker, out there is going to ride to Sturgis. They're not going to.
And if you're not a biker, you've got no reason to go there.
Hey,
and if they're
going, pushing the Harley out the back of the cargo plane on a parachute, nobody's flying to Sturgis. Okay.
Well, I was going to say there is a group of people, John. There is a group of people who aren't going to be riding to Sturgis, but they're trailer queens. They're going to take their bikes up there and their trucks loaded into their trailers. And hey, I don't blame them on that one. That's a long drive for some people, and maybe they don't want to ride the whole entire time.
Well, yeah,
and you don't want to ride all the way to Sturgis and then have to clean your bike and everything.
Exactly. And there's a lot of people out there that kind of. But I come from the world that I come from, right? I say if you're going to go to an event like that, it's ride or die.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
That was the world that my dad used to be in. And I'm not saying anything bad about my father. I love my father. But the last couple of times they went down to Bike Week in Daytona, they trailered. And I was like, they're riding in a really nice RV that their buddy owns. They bring 3 trailers down. I'm like, oh, come on, guys! You used to be cool.
Hi, Nick.
We used to make fun of at Bugapalooza. We used to make fun of the trailer queens because it was like, come on, man! You didn't drive that beautiful beast. You didn't drive it across the country. Come on.
They don't want it to have bugs on it.
It would take you 30 minutes to an hour to clean it up.
Oh, no. I disagree, Skunk, because trust me, if you've ever driven through Mississippi in love bug season,
Love bug
that stuff
season,
don't come off.
springtime. Oh boy.
Hey, you don't use the chemicals that I use to clean vehicles.
Dugong is your friend. To get love bugs off your car would take.
Hey,
also takes the chrome off your bumper.
I also want to point out that I said that, but then I thought about it and I was like, who's ever seen me wash a vehicle before?
Hey, I've heard those love bugs on motorcycles.
Although there was that incident with you in the short earning money for school.
You know, not only will they take chrome off of it, they'll take you off of it.
Yeah, literally, you'll have to throw the helmet away when you're done. It's that bad.
I saw a picture. It was a list of pictures. It was like amazing photos you won't believe, right? And one of the photos was a helmet, and you could only see half of the helmet. The other half of it was gone, or I don't know where it was. I didn't tell you where it probably is. Probably on the asphalt somewhere.
In
Ground
Louisiana,
down.
Yeah.
in Louisiana, Mississippi, and LA, which in this case is Lower Alabama, the convenience stores and the Walmart all have this pink gallon jug, and it's bug juice.
Yes.
Some of them call it love bug juice.
Yep.
And you can only get it down there. And believe me, Florida. You can get it in Florida. And that'll work, but don't get it anywhere near your kids.
Yeah, it's
Well,
Your ability to have
as I was
kids,
saying, this helmet.
there's a waiver on the side.
This helmet, as I was saying, it was ground down. Like there was none of it left. Right? It was right before where the skull would be. This thing stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What had happened was that the guy had gotten into a motorcycle accident. He was doing like 140, and he landed backwards and skidded on his back with his head against the ground. And the helmet was the only thing that saved this man's life. Because if he hadn't have been wearing his helmet, that would have been his skull. It was amazing. What a great picture.
That almost. It was only about 135 miles an hour, but my brother was doing a wheelie, and it went up and over, and he skidded, and his shirt rolled back. He lost like 80% of the flesh off his back, ground the whole back end of his helmet perfectly flat. Being my brother, got up, complained about the broken thumb, and was yelling at the cops for making them, impound tow the motorcycle instead of letting him ride home. But yeah, I mean, if you're gonna ride, you gotta wear a brain bucket. They've saved my life a bunch of times. I don't ride anymore,
guys.
but
Full face.
Oh yeah.
Okay, not a brain bucket. Wear a full face. I'm telling you. Every time my dad leaves and he just wears his brain bucket, I just look at him like, no, bad. Because
this may be a regional. This may be a regional thing. When we say brain bucket, we mean any helmet up here. We don't just mean a half helmet.
Yeah, Navy calls it that.
Yeah, a brain around here, a brain bucket is literally the helmet that goes from here to here.
Oh no,
Yeah,
no.
down here
the
they
bucket.
call that a skull cap.
But no, the reason I say that, the reason I say that is because my uncle worked at Erlanger as a trauma tech. When we were down there at the hospital one day, he was literally just going down there to pick up something. I think it was a gift for his kid. Like he'd bought it off of another person that was down there, so we went down there to go pick it up. And of course, whenever you go with somebody to their job during when they would be working, except I've got the day off, of course, everybody down there wants to talk to them and say hi. So I'm stuck down there with them, and I'm like, whatever. I'm like, I'm ready to go. Like I'm just been hanging out with my uncle for a while, and I just want to go home now. And they say, oh, Trevor, before you go, we need you to look at a patient and tell us what you think we should do. And he's like, all right, it's my day off, but whatever. I'll take a quick look at a patient. I'll help you guys out. So he grabs the guy's chart and looks over it and goes, okay, I see what's going on. I'm sitting there bored. And he's like, all right, man, I got to go in here and go talk to this patient. I'm like, okay. So I follow him. And he pulls the curtain back and he goes, well, how are we feeling today, Mr. Johnson? Or whatever the guy's name was. And it was instantaneous. A nurse saw it and ran over with a wastebasket for me to puke in. He was doing 100 miles an hour on a crotch rocket on Interstate 24 and hit a pothole. He was only wearing a half helmet and he landed on his face.
Yep.
From here down was pussy, pulsating hamburger meat. And I mean, it was like looking at something in a horror movie. It was disgusting. It was horrible. But the problem with it was that it was real, and you cannot fake that in a movie. You just cannot. It will never be the same. The way it moved and the way it, and I vomited. And then afterwards, he was like, all right, "You watch all those horror movies. I figured you'd be okay with it." I was like, I was not okay with that at all. That was nothing like anything I've ever seen in a horror movie. It moved. It moved in an unnatural way because it was completely natural. It was not anything I'd ever seen.
Natural way. That's what's up.
Exactly. Yeah. And he said, he told me, he said, you want to know what the saddest part about that story is? He told me, he goes, there's nothing we could do for him. We have to put him on morphine until he dies. Because there's no saving him. He's too damaged to repair. So for God's sake, wear a full face helmet, please, for your sake. We love you, and if you're watching this, we love you and we care about you. And even if you don't believe that, you have people in your life that love you and care about you. If you ride a motorcycle, please, for the love of God, wear a full face helmet and also leather. I don't care how hot it is. Wear some freaking leather. Because outside of plate armor, it's going to be the only thing that's going to save you from having to get skin grafts.
Now, Lewis, one of our late
Sorry,
friends,
Carly.
All right. Give her put the headphones back on.
And I'm not going to show the scar, but I want to point out real quick that I know from experience, wear leather because I wore jeans and I have a scar on my knee and it hurts.
Lewis, one of our late friends, Mark. You know who I'm talking about? He posted up one time on something that I shared one time. He says, absolutely, you dress for the slide, not the ride.
Yep.
Not the ride.
Yeah, and Dave's back. Now Dave's back. Dave, have you been paying any attention to the Halicon pages or the website?
Not really. What's new?
Well, we are planning on going live in person October 29th through 31st, and our artwork has been released.
Very cool. Very cool. Oh, nice. Now, I think I'm already.
Yeah, you're pre-rigged.
Yeah,
we rolled you over for this year.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to masks being a thing of the past. I have to admit, I am waiting for the vaccine that is dead viruses versus the RNA ones. I think Johnson & Johnson's the dead virus vaccine. So that's the one I think I'm going to wait for to get vaccinated.
But yeah, I hope, of course, we're going to have to follow whatever mandate the area has or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I find the face shields irritating mostly because it's so isolating. It's like you're putting all these barriers. I don't know whether a face shield would be better if we had to wear something, but I personally don't. I guess my feeling about that whole thing is, if you're really scared, you should take precautions. And if you're sick, you should certainly not go out and affect anyone. But the risk that I take should be my decision. It's like riding a motorcycle. Will people die from riding a motorcycle, so we're going to stop them doing that. America's always been about assuming the risk you're willing to take with your life.
Yeah.
But
Well,
if that works,
we actually have a COVID survivor here in the room.
Yeah, and the biggest issue with that argument, Dave, and this is because I do agree with you to about 90% that it's that 10% of pointing out that you don't have to be sick to be a carrier. You can be asymptomatic. Now, I don't know if anybody here is asymptomatic because nobody can possibly know if they're asymptomatic. And it's a scary thought of every time that you go into a store, you see somebody who's perfectly fine, and you don't know they could be a carrier. People only find out because they go, I don't feel good. I need to go to the doctor. Nobody goes to the doctor when they feel well.
yeah, I've never been sick. I mean, I've been sick where I've been like, something's happening, but nothing really major. Where normally I would just go to work. With COVID, it's a little more like I feel like something's happening. I've never been attacked by something where I didn't know like something was kind of happening, but I have known something was happening without me having any symptoms. So I think a lot of people say they don't have, they're asymptomatic means they didn't really feel like it was enough to be really sick, but I have a hard time believing you can't tell when something's attacking you because I seem, you know what I'm saying?
Lewis can tell you firsthand how quick it can hit you.
I am almost certain that I got it at a polling place January 5th when Georgia went back to the polls for the Senate runoff, because there were a bunch of people there not wearing masks. I was wearing mine dutifully and have been every time I go in public for the last year. But there were a lot of people there without masks, and they were not sanitizing the machines or the pens or anything in between users. Okay. But the biggest thing about the masks, Dave, is that they're not for you. So you not wearing a mask is not you accepting risk. That is you accepting risk for everybody you come in contact with, because you can be asymptomatic and spread the disease and not know it. It is a courtesy to your human friend that you wear the mask.
COVID never,
Time out, Dave. Time out. I had severe symptoms for 3 to 4 days. I knew that I had it. I felt it for about a week, maybe 8 days, but I tested positive for a whole month. It was just last Friday that I finally tested negative for COVID. Okay, so while I felt bad for a few days, I was contagious for a month. And that was a month I just didn't go anywhere. I wasn't going to risk it. Even though I wear a mask, I wasn't going to risk it. So, Publix got a lot of extra money from me for delivery, but it was a decision that I made, and thankfully I was able to make it.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Carly. I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. I'm sorry. She said this, and I was like, I felt bad about that.
I mean, COVID's never going to go away. I mean, if you have to understand, it's now endemic in our society and the world.
No, and we will eventually get herd immunity. But until then, we've had almost 500,000 people die. That's a high price to pay.
I heard something. I don't know if you can verify it. I heard that this year we have had no flu deaths.
No what?
Flu. Normal flu. I've heard this year there have been no
flu deaths.
Yes.
That's hard to believe, but I understand that there would be a lot fewer flu cases because people are sanitizing their hands, wearing masks, and staying away from each other. So, that's a great side effect of the precautions that we're taking for COVID-19.
Yeah, my take is different on that, but that's, I mean, again,
Okay.
I feel like the COVID thing has been to the point where the restraints on society that the government's put on and said, "Hey, we can do this," may never go away at this point.
Hey, Joe, Two Real
Well,
Geeks is here.
okay,
Yeah.
Dave, I'll use the same argument that I've used before. During World War II, you couldn't buy tires. You couldn't buy more than 5 pounds of sugar a month. You couldn't you couldn't buy a new car because GM was making Jeeps and Ford was making tanks. That was 4+ years. You lived on the coastline. You couldn't put your porch light on after dusk. Okay, I mean, America's had lots of time to understand sacrifice, and we've made the sacrifices. And then, as soon as things were safe, they were cleared. I understand some people's apprehension about giving the government any kind of power like that, but there are plenty of examples where the government has taken emergency powers and then returned back to normal after the emergency was over. So,
Yeah.
you don't agree with me? Yeah, that's what makes America great.
It is true because I do disagree with the masks and things. I do because first I know of a virologist who does the tests for COVID. She processes them. She's in a lab. The masks stop spittle. They do not stop the virus. The masks stop the spittle.
Not unless it's an N95 mask, and then it's only 95% effective.
Carried by spittle. So I understand that. The mask stops spittle. But when you blow through it, it does not stop the virus.
It doesn't stop it.
The amount of spittle that the virus is carrying virus, but some virus is still coming through that mask if you're breathing through it.
And that's why there's also social distancing. That's the added layer of protection is distance.
I think a good way to look at it is, when I was a kid, my parents would be squirting guns because my dad, he didn't like guns that looked like guns. So I ran around a lot with the little old Windex bottles. You know, the ones where you can switch the nozzle? You know the ones, right? With the little knob.
Yeah.
And if you want to squirt somebody way over there, you have it set on the stream, and it goes way over there. That's kind of like if you had COVID and you hocked a loogie at somebody. A little vulgar, but it's kind of the easiest way to keep it. Now, if you ran the big spray, it would go farther. But if you hit it on the mist setting, the stuff stops only right in front of you. A lot of the masks are doing is making it harder for stuff to get to you and keeping it at a mist setting so that it has more time to fall down. It's a very simple mechanical system.
I got to call Tom out for a minute. I may be losing power in just a minute. Car just hit a telephone pole just right up the street from me. So if I blank out, I may not be back.
Joe, you've got a car just hit a telephone
pole near your house.
You're on the smart grid.
Joe,
it's the next pole down from me.
Oh,
but Joe, out of curiosity, how did you know that?
Did you not see me start looking around and jump up and take off running? I heard it hit.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
I didn't see that at all. I was listening to them answer.
I love you so much.
We were
just like, I was
watching
focused on
David
the
Lewis.
yeah, it was a very engaging conversation that we're having, Joe. I'm sorry. I didn't know what you were doing when you got up, man. I thought you had to pee.
Well, after last week, we were beaming out of the jet air. We assumed
guard duty just in case
I thought you had a bean burrito for dinner.
Oh, that wouldn't stop him. He just fart on camera.
No, I just
Yeah, he leans over and lets her rip.
Hey, fart nothing, man. You put some of
The one cheek
that
stuff, yeah.
little hot sauce on there.
Anything to keep the mosquitoes back.
Bean
By the way,
burrito is when you put the bidet on the cold setting.
Somebody, I don't remember who it was. I think it might have been John, I think. I don't remember who it was. Somebody posted a meme online that I got linked to that was or no way, it wasn't John. Somebody sent it to me in a instant message, and it was where the toilet paper roll goes. It was a tortilla, and it said, "If you think about it, you can have Taco Bell twice."
Oh my god!
Oh, really,
Yeah.
Skunk?
Yeah, of
Like,
course.
The standards for those shows here are like here. You don't have to reach very far, but that's
Nick,
That's not
that's
even
far too high.
low-hanging
You can't even.
fruit. That's
The problem is you
holding.
can't go any lower because you got the arm things on.
oh don't pick on Nick.
By the way,
Yeah.
Nick, loving the gingham curtains.
Oh no!
They bring out your eyes.
Hey, I decided to.
That Holly Hobby effect.
You know,
in the background.
I can only be in front of the car so long without you guys thinking that I'm holed up in a bunker somewhere.
Oh, it's much better
And
than the tarp.
I'm not.
I still love the tarp though. 'cause
The tarp has its charm. I've had some people really say it just needs some blood splatter just to kind of upgrade the
that's
tarp.
That's
But
where I was going.
That's every time I see the tarp, all I can think is like, please send them the money. They're serious.
We expect you to hold up today's newspaper.
By the way, Joe Dog, I'm retiring this year. Late this year, but I am retiring this year.
From
I got 5 years
making
on.
hostages.
And your con is where I'm going to start the celebration. Is your con?
All
I can
right.
get there.
Yeah.
All right, who's the bouncer?
But anyway, I wanted to show you guys this.
Go, Joe. Do not look at me.
This
I'm gonna sick this on Bill. I'm gonna sick this on
is
Bill.
homemade mead. I'm going to bring multiple bottles of this to Joe
Joe.
Dog convention.
So, speaking as an experienced con security guy,
Yeah.
he's the guy you send the new guys after.
Oh
Come
no!
on! I'm celebrating.
Just
Well,
to give
Joe-
us an experience.
Joe, you know what the biggest issue of all of this is, right, Joe?
What?
I just said I'm gonna sick Bill. I'm gonna sick Bill on Dave, right?
Yeah.
And then Dave just said, "But I have mead."
Yeah.
I'm like, great. Bill
Oh,
can be easily influenced with a bribe.
I'm going to throw something back
Joe,
up. On the,
Scott, you'll be easily bribed, or Joe Dog.
No, Bill is my second in command for security. He can be easily bribed.
Two Real Geeks is in the
You got
room.
Carly's attention.
I said that earlier, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, we got two, but I forget. But we got something we can show Two Real Geeks. So,
We do?
yeah, go ahead, get your screen grab ready, so you can actually have this information. This is the Halicon poster for 2021, which is made by. Speaking of this, it is made by Plasma Fire Graphics, where the look of the book matters to you.
Ooh, nice
Look
plug,
of your
Joe.
book
That was
matters.
Yeah, that was smooth.
Yeah, where the look of your book matters to you.
How much is it, Joe Dog? How much
How much?
charge?
Not very much, Dave.
Not very much.
Get Jeffrey to help you out right now while he's cheap before he realizes what he's worth. Brian,
If you can send me an email on his email, because I need to do the thing that's keeping me from putting my stuff on Amazon is that I don't have a cover.
Yeah.
So if this guy's got decent art and I like your poster,
Oh,
decent
you have
art.
no idea,
Oh.
Dave. You have
Oh, my
no
sweet
idea.
former child.
Dave, write it down. It's plasmafiregraphics.com.
Wait. I've got to find a scrap of paper here. Plasma.
Yes.
And if you tell him you know Joe Dog, he'll charge you double.
Plasma
Fire graphics.com.
And it's one word?
No.
Yeah.
Plasmafiregraphics.com. Yeah, one word.
Lewis.
All right, Joe Dog, thank you. With this
One
information,
second.
I can start moving ahead with publication.
Yeah.
Lewis,
By
I
the
was
way,
going to say,
I
Lewis,
was,
wait 1 second.
By the way, my first book was edited by Tony, who then told me never to send the damn book to her again.
That's a rousing endorsement.
And
Hey,
then
Lewis.
I just got Chris Kennedy's publishing company saying, well, we're interested. And he sent me a contract. And I said, I want a reversion clause. And he goes, we're not interested anymore. And I was like shocked. All the authors on Chris Kennedy, and they're good authors. I mean, I know a bunch of them. But all the authors on Chris Kennedy's website apparently have no reversion clause on their books, which means Chris Kennedy, for all practical purposes, owns them once he publishes them. I was shocked. Most times when you do a book, you have like a 2 or 3 year reversion clause, which means, and I feel kind of bad because Bain kind of does the same thing. You'll see a lot of David Weber's early books on the Bain free press, right?
Library.
Oh.
Anyway,
Yeah.
It sells David Weber's latest book because people can get into the series reading 3 books. On the other hand, it detracts from David Weber's income because he can never put it on Amazon for money anymore because Baines has it for free. Now, he writes enough that it doesn't matter. He writes 2-3 books, a couple of books a year. So for him, having people read his new stuff at full price, that's worth it for him. But I'm a more of an amateur author. I don't have a lot of books that I'll ever publish. So for someone to say they're going to take my work and never return it to me on Amazon, I was shocked.
Yeah, independent self-publishing is pretty much the way of the future on books.
So what I was going to say earlier, Lewis, was don't ever make me laugh like that again. I almost died. I about fell out of my fucking chair sideways.
About what?
Oh, what Lewis said earlier.
We just thought you were well, yes.
Yeah, I'm slow. I am
You're
slow.
young and flexible, so I just assumed.
Well, no, Joe Dog was trying to give him the information on Plasma Fire, and I said, mention Joe Dog, he'll charge you double.
Oh,
It's still funny.
Oh, by the way, I almost bought a pop-up Joe Dog, but he had wanted 1,000. The lift mechanism was messed up, so I said 600. He goes, fine. I go, all right, give me the VIN number, and he disappeared because the VIN number, of course, I can search to see if it's been stolen or not. He never responded. I've got to do a search because my boss hates me. It's just the way it is. She doesn't like me. They keep trying to get rid of me. So apparently I'm not I don't come across very attorney-like. Anyway, if I received stolen goods, that would be all they would need to get rid of me. So I've got to have the VIN number to run a search.
Yeah.
So it's kind of been an interesting thing. It's an older trailer, so you bought pop-up Joe Dog. What should I look for?
Well, I mainly dealt with the Apache brand campers. So, that was a niche group. And, within the Apache brand, there's two different styles. There's canvas, and then there is the ABS plastic,
Right.
which is actually permitted in bare areas for some reason. Where they won't let you tent camp
I
because of
don't know
bears,
why.
but they'll allow this plastic camper. Don't ask, I don't know. But the canvas.
I'm just trying to follow the logic there.
I've done some camping in like Bear Paw
I'm having a lot of trouble.
at Yellowstone, and man, I didn't even like going out to go to the bathroom in some of those joints at different times of the year because it's like, no.
Apparently, you don't want to go to an outhouse in Alaska anymore.
Yeah.
If you're a guy, unless you're doing a number two, you just step out of the camper in the dark. No one sees you.
Well, he was more worried about the bears.
Yeah, but if you're in a canvas pop-up, you don't want to do that because you'll smell it all.
Wandering yogi.
Now, did I ever tell y'all my story
Although
about?
if you do it on the edge of your campsite, it will keep a lot of critters away by just old school territory marking.
Yeah,
I am not cryptid.
Yeah. Lewis, did I ever tell you my raccoon story about camping up at Harrison Bay?
Not that I remember. And your stories are quite memorable. So
Yeah. You saw my little Apache camper, the canvas camper. Well, I'll let not thinking. I just put we have our little the consumables, but stuff that's not open, we would leave that was still sealed up in bags. Had in a little tote underneath the camper. About 2:33 in the morning, I hear whoop, blump, and it wakes us up, and we're like, "What the hell was that?" And then I hear my tote across the gravel. So, I throw my shorts on real quick, and I poke my head out the door with the flashlight, and there's 2 raccoons pulling the tote.
they're smart.
I went,
Teamwork.
I said, "Stop! What are you doing?" Then one of them reached and ripped the top off and went in and grabbed my chicken crackers. The chicken flavored crackers from Dollar Tree. He grabbed the box and took off running. I said, throw my shoes on and start chasing him through the woods because it's a brand new box. He finally stops and he's holding the box, like this, looking at me. And I got the flashlight on, and I'm telling him, no, put it down, stop. He opens the box.
He's taunting you at this point.
Yeah.
I've got teeth.
You
Want to see my big teeth?
And then he reaches in and he opens the bag. Then I'm really screaming. By then, people are coming out of their campers.
Yeah, because they want to see a grown man arguing with a raccoon over chicken crackers.
Trying to
We're
figure
the
out.
raccoons winning. We're the raccoons winning.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
But then the little bastard reaches into
Oh,
the bag.
now it's getting personal.
That's getting personal. Reaches in, pulls a cracker out. Doesn't put it in his mouth. He pulls the cracker out and shows it to me. Then eats it.
Now you
I'll
see,
lose it.
this is what you get when raccoons watch The Sopranos. Okay, what's next? He pulls out a 38
Cannoli.
special and says, "You make a move, the cracker gets it."
Well, he dropped. At that point, I just.
I'm just trying to figure
Right
out
now,
the YouTube search terms now. I know there's got to be video somewhere.
Well, not to interrupt your story, Jedok, but I mean, there's plenty of videos where raccoons will just like walk up and just like take something and be like, "Yo, I'm gone."
Okay.
Well, the thing is,
We
he wants
need to set up a GoFundMe for Joe.
So Joe Dog, did you get the crackers back, or did the bastard run off with the box?
Yeah, finish a story.
Well, he dropped it and ran, and I went and got it, and he spilled the crackers. I picked up every damn cracker and put it back in the bag and took and threw it in the damn garbage can because I knew I couldn't eat them no more. But damn, if that son of a bitch was going to get them.
You know what I was expecting you to say
What?
is that he dropped the box, and when you went and picked up the box, he had snuck around, got in the driver's seat, and hauling off with your ride.
Come on, Joe Dog. Everybody knows the 6-second rule. It was fine. Just eat the damn crackers.
Well, not when that nasty raccoon had his damn hands down in there.
I will say that. I will say this. You know, the thing about it is that Joe was like, I picked up every
Raccoons
single one
wash
of
their
those
hands.
crackers. I picked up every single one of those crackers and I threw them in the garbage, right?
Yeah.
Because I didn't want that little bastard to get Joe. You know, as soon as you did that, he was all like, "All right, everybody." He took the bait. Time to eat. It was a fresh box of crackers in the garbage.
No, they got the
Yeah, really.
at the time they had the anti-animal bins up there.
Yeah, hey,
Yeah.
Joe Dog, you know how well that worked, right?
Yeah, they pulled them out and put a dumpster. Now on Sunday night it looks like, or late Sunday night it looks like the dumpster explodes.
I'll say this: if you've ever seen that movie,
Good night, Brian.
Over the Hedge.
Yeah.
Over the Hedge is, I mean, it's obviously it's a fictional film, it's a cartoon. But whenever I watch that movie, I always am reminded that like raccoons are very smart, and they do figure things out that nobody else can figure out because they're very smart. They just use their powers for evil because they're all bandits. That's why
They
they're
have
born with
fun.
masks.
Now, Alan
All right,
Gilbreth.
right. I think the only
Oh, yes.
Alan Gilbert's got great raccoon
Alan Gilbert's
stories.
what?
He has great raccoon stories.
Oh, okay. Actually, I was going to recommend him and William to be as possible publishers because they both do have reverse clauses in their contracts.
Dan,
You know,
which William?
Dan,
Yes, dear.
who are you talking about, Dan?
Which
Scott Tackett, William
Roberts.
Three Ravens Publishing, and Alan's Dark Oak Publishing.
Oh, yeah, I know about Alan's Dark Oak Publishing. I haven't really submitted it. I can't remember if I submitted it to him or not. My story is basically a coming of age story, so it's not it's
was
more
that?
of a YA story. So I'm not sure how many publishers want to deal with that.
Yeah, it's worth a try just to send. They're interested. You don't have to send them the manuscript first.
I'm
Raccoon.
I'm going to start my own publishing company. I think, like I said, when I retire, it's not retiring from doing anything. It's retiring
what is
from
going on down there?
doing anything for people I no longer like or respect. And so, as you all know, we all work for people we don't like or respect often.
Lost
So,
all my audio there.
so anyway,
Hey, Nick got to see my Blackie impression right there, where I was like, "What the?"
what?
I swear, I was like, Nick
Anyway.
suddenly had the light of God coming out of his camera. I was just like, "Oh God."
What?
You missed it, Dave. We can't.
I lost
Nick's
all my
image
audio for a second
now.
there.
Actually, Dan is kind of like this. that is what I'm getting from Dan. It's just this kind of this jerk thing going. It
Oh, well, it looks perfectly fine to me. No, I have a really bad internet connection. It only works for me.
But I won't soon. As of Tuesday, I will be under the wonderful, beautiful, and very caring umbrella of EPB fiber optic 1 gig internet. Yes.
Is that house already set up for it, or are they going to have to do install?
Joe, I have no fucking idea.
It's easy to tell.
Well,
Look right beside the
freak
meter.
time.
If there's a little box, you got it. If not,
I'll let you know tomorrow. Because I'm not there right now. Obviously, I'm still at my dad's place. I'm gonna be sleeping in the guest bedroom. I'm gonna be sleeping in the downstairs guest bedroom, actually, which is technically not a guest bedroom. It's technically the living room. That's where the biggest TV in the house is. But there's also a bed in there, so that's where I'm going to be sleeping tonight. But when I get over there tomorrow, I'll look for the box.
Skunk.
Yeah.
Is this your house, or where are you living?
This right now is my dad's place. I'm moving out. I'm actually in the process of moving out as of today. We got our lease started today. Me and Joe Blair. I don't know if you've met Joe, Dave, but I don't know if you know him. We got a place up in Hickson.
Having roommates that live like you do, it's great. It's a lot of fun. Having roommates that don't live like you do can be like unbelievable.
Me and Joe have always been on the same. Me and Joe Blair, go Street Bunny. We've always been on the same wavelength not the same exact wavelength. We've been on the same wavelength, different frequencies for a very long time. So, or maybe different amplitudes. I don't know. We mesh very well together. That's what I'm gonna say. It's just we're just two different frequencies of sine wave where it meshes very well together. It sounds good. That's what I'm going to say. Musical terminology. But he's just him and I get along very well, and I think that this is going to be a good living situation, especially because he's such a good dude, and he makes sure that his side of things always gets taken care of. So I'm like, he's going to be a perfect roommate because I know the rent's going to get paid, and that's the number one thing that you're worried about. Yeah. I think Christopher Titus said it best. Anxiety is a good thing. You need to have anxiety. You need to have anxiety that the rent's not going to get paid because the fucking rent gets paid.
I have rented in Maryland. I rented a porch to live on because that's all the money I had. I rented literally a porch to live on in America. And Maryland during the winter, I had to go out the porch door and in the back door to get to the bathroom. And they were very good Christian people, so they kicked me out after about 3 months.
Well, I was gonna say the absolute worst roommates I ever had. I want to point this out. I want to be very, very clear about this. The absolute worst roommates I've ever had weren't even on the lease. I don't even know how they got there. One of my actual roommates who was on the lease moved all these fuckers in, and it just became a nightmare. And I was just looking at it. It's just not to get political about it, but
No.
they were communists.
Welcome, comrade, to your apartment. We have taken it over. We have, what is it? We have assimilated your apartment,
Yes,
comrade. Thank you for
it was serious. It was seriously like that. It really was. And all of a sudden, it was just like these people just move into my apartment, and then they've taken everything over, and now they live there, and I had to move out. I was, what the hell happened? But I'm serious when I say they were communists. So I was like, cool. That was awesome. Now I don't live here anymore.
Well,
But they were bad people. Joe was actually one of the better roommates that I've had in the past. Although I only had Joe as a roommate for a few months. It was when we were all living together over in Rossville. Back then, it was me. It's me, Veronica Real. Joe lived there for a few months, and William, and we all lived there together. And Joe, do you remember that when we were all living there and we were living in Rossville together?
Well, I sort of remember that was that was between Country Hearth and Dalton, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe so. I remember we when we put in our pre-reg for Halicon that year. I remember we all got our pre-regis together. We all got our money together, and Veronica got the brilliant idea. It's like, I'm going to put this on Dutch's porch in a package.
Yeah, that was before Country Hearth. That was still
that was the year of Country Hearth.
Yeah, that was Comfort.
No, that was the year of Country Hearth. That was after.
Oh, okay.
That was after we went to the Best Western and came back.
Yeah,
and so it was the first year for Country Hearth, and Veronica sent. Dave, you're gonna love this. Veronica, my ex-girlfriend, she had put in a box with red ribbon paper, and at the bottom was our pre-regis, but on top of that was a plastic severed foot that we got from Halloween Express, and we left it on Dutch and Mickey's porch.
There was an arm and a leg in there. Well, that was Dutch's story.
It was just yeah, but never let the truth get in the way of a good story. Yeah. It was just a foot, though. It was just a foot. And I remember how Mickey reacted to that when we saw her. And Veronica brought it up to remind her because it had been several months, because we did this right after July, because we had just been there for the barbecue. So we did this because Dutch used to have barbecue at his house every year for the 4th of July. So we did this in it was literally like August when we did it, when we put the pre-reg in, so that he wouldn't, and we didn't say who it was from until they looked and saw the pre-reg forms. So we had to remind them, because it was a couple months later, who had done it. So we remind Dutch and Mickey who did it. We reminded Mickey, and it was Veronica who did it. She was like, "Did you like our pre-regs?" And Mickey, she gets that look on her face, right? That Mickey gets. And she was like, "I hate you assholes."
Joe Dog, I love that you've taken over Halicon, but I have to admit, the one thing I'm disappointed with, and I know it's partly because of Dutch's health problems, but I wish Dutch and Mickey came down, and they were longtime con people. They were some of the first people I met when I started doing cons.
Well, Dave, the first year that Joe ran, both Dutch and Mickey came down, and every year after that, I know Mickey's come down at least for one night.
Yeah, I know, but it's not the same as staying for the whole con. I mean, they do come in and visit, but I have to admit, for me, you guys are my friends, and more of I've got different families, but you are like one of the main ones, and so I know I've never run a con or anything, but I hope I never just walk away. Does that make sense?
I would just rather have. If I can't have both of them, I'd like to have one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather Mickey be able to show up for at least one night than to not show up at all. That makes me happy, just to be able to see her and give her a hug and tell her I love her.
I mean, I love them both, and so I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I hope Dutch, if he has health problems, he gets over them and can start enjoying cons again. Just as a, he was the center of Halicon for so long. I don't know whether it's just hard, physical, or whether it's just hard for him to come back to a con where he was the king and now he's a attendee. I don't know if that's hard.
Well, Dutch was planning to come back for 2020. We were all planning. I mean, we had some stuff planned, but well, you know,
Yeah, and I talked to Dutch during the pandemic because I wanted to ask him a few questions and stuff. So I called him up and see how he's doing just fine.
Yeah.
It really was with him getting out of conventions. Really was more or less, just he just was done with doing conventions. Really was. He'd had enough, and he wanted to spend more time just him and Mickey just enjoying retirement. That's a lot of what it was for him.
Yeah,
just to not deal with the stress.
Like Outside Con. Have you ever been to Outside Con, Skunk? I can't remember.
Yeah. I went twice. Both times I parked. I was driving my van at the time, and I parked up at the pavilion and hung out with. I mainly hung out with Mark Michael and Jeff Wormsley and that whole crew because I relate to those guys more than anybody else when I'm up there at Outside. Because no offense to everybody, they're the youngest guys there.
But outside, Joe Dog's taking over the Saturday Night Live party, which is the big party and starting it. And I was just always, because I love Dutch and I love Mickey and I love everybody who goes Outside Con. And when Dutch was finished with the cons, he just didn't come back. And
yeah, he was
done. He was done. The only one that he's really interested in coming back to ever is Hallow, and that's really just to come and hang out and have one weekend just to hang out with people, and it's he's been back to Hallow at least once. We've only been under Joe Dog's very mature supervision for the past couple of years, and it's been going good. We've been doing a good job. So he took a couple years off, but I mean he's gonna come back. As far as going to all the other conventions, it really was a lot of the conventions, and I'm not saying this to be mean about Dutch. It's just the truth. He went to a lot of conventions just to promote Halocon and FantasyCon, and if he doesn't have to do that, he's only going to go to the conventions. He's going to only go to conventions because he wants to. And I'm not saying that those conventions are bad; they're not. But why spend the money and effort if he's just going to those conventions? Now, him not going to Outside Con freaked me out. Joe Doc told me that. I was like, but he loves Outside Con. Like that was one of his big trips for the year. But I think the reason why is because he's got something else going on that weekend now.
Yeah, I mean that's his choice. I just know that you go to a lot of cons. I go to a lot of the writers' panels. After a while, they're all the same. You start going to the cons to party with your friends. You guys are my friends. I mean, that's what I go to the con for, is to hang out with you guys. I do go to panels because I learned some stuff.
Yeah. Well, Dave, have you noticed that I haven't had many repeat guests when I ran Halocon while we were doing in person? I had a lot of new guests, and that was one of the things I'm really working with. And now with this StreamYard thing, I have found a way that we can actually set it up for we can actually possibly have bigger guests show up for Halocon and never have to leave their house.
Yes, that would be cool.
If
Joe Dog, I love that you're trying to make Halocon like a major. I mean, you're trying to really push it.
We're trying to grow.
You're trying to make it grow. I have to admit this. I went to. Any of you guys know about Mike Williams' last 3 cons? The anti-masker cons.
Yeah.
I went to the first 2. They were okay. I mean, but the one I loved the best was the one at the hotel Helicon's at,
Yeah.
because there's a central place where everyone can hang. Mike Williamson went to Clarksville. I went to the one, but it's not really con friendly. There's not a place to just hang out and be with other people like there is at that hotel. And I love the fact that, I mean, they really are trying to make that hotel nice. I mean, I love that about that hotel.
Well, I'm going to tell you, had COVID not hit, that big main room was going to get a fresh coat of paint, new car. Well, they were going to pull the carpet, put down that vinyl plank flooring. They were going to remodel that main room.
I have to admit, I'm okay with that main room the way it is. I love the carpet. I love the carpet. They clean it. You get the cleaner, the rug doctor, clean it up. It's fine.
Yeah, well, the carpet
I think
is.
Dan's getting a signal from Mars.
No, I'm trying to do a
His
music.
internet provider.
No, we got to looking into it. Do you know the last time the carpet was replaced in that room, Dave?
1970.
I'm going to guess 2002.
88.
I love it. I love that carpet. I love that carpet. It's my carpet. It's my age. I'm older. I love that carpet.
But for commercial carpet, that's wore out. And I mean, they were going to repaint the room and everything. And who knows? It may still happen.
They really have kept the carpet clean.
Yeah.
And okay. My new car is a 2000 Honda Accord. My old car, which I drive often, is my 88 Chevy Nova. So for me, old is not bad. I don't care for new just for new's sake. In fact, I like old because a lot of times it's made a little better. And if it's lasted that long, what the hell? And I like that carpet. They clean it up. It's not that bad.
Well, it's just, it used to be a nightclub. And, they can't get the cigarette smell out of it. That's one of the reasons they're wanting to clean it up, because it makes the room more rentable.
Well, yeah. The problem with that is once you do that, you start talking about expenses. And then they start talking about, well, we can't have you drip anything on it because we've just spent $100,000 on the carpet. I'd rather have clean carpet cleaned and where they don't hassle you.
Well, that's why they're going with the plank vinyl floor. Carpet's going away.
Yeah, but the plank vinyl floor, first, acoustically, you get reflections off the anything you're broadcasting. The other thing is it's kind of cold. My house is kind of weird. My rooms have hardwood. My living room and dining room is shag carpet. Well, the reason is because the carpet in the rooms was crap, and before they sold it to me, they ripped it all out, and they left the what was left. And then I've cleaned it. Underneath it, hardwood floors, but I love the softness of carpet. It's just warm. And I know I grew up in the 70s when shag was all the rage, but sometimes you just can't leave some of that.
Now, Dave, did you tune in when I pulled off Helicon, the virtual Helicon? Did you check out any of the programming that I put out?
I don't think I was keyed into that. The first virtual con I went to was Chattacon.
Okay. Dan will tell you that I changed the way it was. Oh, I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry. I just
okay, Joe, we love you anyway.
I just dropped.
Oh, look at that!
Princess.
I knocked my drink bottle over on her and scared her to death. I'm sorry.
By the way, Joe Dog, we know that Halicon's only successful because of Donna. We just know that. I just want to let you know.
Oh yeah. Oh, Chris says not that kind of flooring. Okay. Chris is the one that was arranging everything. I mean, we had. I mean, they were going to remodel the room to help us. We were actually picking out the colors. Oh, but Lewis here is very, if they have outside again, Lewis is going to show up with his little camper that he takes with him everywhere. Now, are you going to get?
It's not little. It's a 30-foot Class C.
Well, I was going to say, what I was about to add is, are you going to hook it up to where you can pull your car with it?
We've been tossing that back and forth. I mean, if we go for a long trip, we really need to have a towed. But oh my God, it costs $6,000 to rig it up to where you can tow a car, and it can't just be any car, because we don't want a dolly. We want a flat tow.
Oh,
so
okay.
You're kind of limited in the models of cars that you can get to do that.
And it has to be a manual transmission.
Do you know anybody who can fix it? Do you know
what
anybody
I've proposed?
who can rebuild engines, Lewis?
What?
I have an '88 Chevy Nova I love. It actually has tow rings on the front to be towed.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, that's what I was saying. I'm trying to talk my wife into looking for people who are getting out of RVing, and they're trying to sell their rig, and it's got a towed, and we'll say, hey, we'll buy the towed if whoever's buying your rig doesn't want the towed, because if we can get one, it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be nice. It just has to get us to the grocery store and to the tourist attractions while we're camped,
My
My
88
trying to pack that big
my
up.
88 Nova leaks oil because I was a dumbass when I fixed it.
Mm-hmm.
It's also at the point where really, it's got 277,000 miles on it. It needs a new engine rebuilt. So it's leaking a little oil a lot of oil.
Well, we'd like a little bit nicer car than that. But
oh man, I love the 88.
I just want to point out that I'm getting text messages on Discord from a buddy of mine up in the Knoxville area, and I think he's drunk. Because I decided to be real smart ass with him, and he kept saying my name. Like, he said my name like 3 times. I was like, what? And he kept saying it, and I finally was just like, hi, Mike, how can I help you? And he goes, how can I help you? But he misspelled you. I was like, you can't. And he's typing again. I can't wait to see where this goes.
By the way, I need dating advice because I'm a single guy and I've never managed to attract a single woman. What is your dating advice to an older guy who's bald and a little, really big, kind of? How about you, John? You look kind of military. How about
I
you?
got nothing.
Money.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Why do you think they pay the military?
Dave, I got nothing.
Money. Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm too queer for this conversation.
Dave, do you want to really take dating advice from a man that's been married 33 years to the same woman?
Well, why not?
Oh, I got it up.
I was
I got
married
it
to
up.
one for 29 years, and I'm 8 years in on this one.
I have an update on the situation with my buddy Mike. When I said, he said, how can I help you? I said, you can't. He goes, I'm drunk. You're right. I'm guessing he's watching the show. I can't tell if he meant.
Well, ask him if he is.
He spelled it.
And see how he spells yes.
He spelled it WRITE. So either he meant you're drunk or I'm drunk, you're right, as in R-I-G-H-T, or he meant you're drunk, or I'm drunk, you're white, because that's the only other thing I could think that he might have meant with that. He said, I'm trying. If he's really watching the show, but oh God, he's watching the show. He just keeps making worse type. I'm sorry, Mike. I don't mean to make fun of you. I didn't know you're watching the show. This is pretty funny, though. Yeah, he's watching the show. Man, it's pretty bad when somebody's watching this show is drunker than I am. I feel like Norm Macdonald right now. Everybody is watching this show is drunker than I am.
Well, not me.
I've been watching a lot of Norm Macdonald lately, and I think it's affected me.
I actually don't know who Norm Macdonald is.
Stand-up comedian, does a lot of voice work.
There's a hooker in this trunk.
Yeah. No,
There's a dead hooker in this trunk too.
Dirty work.
All these cars have dead hookers.
All these cars have dead hookers in them. Norm Macdonald has the best story I can possibly tell. When he was working on Saturday Night Live, he did not like Chris Kattan. Him and Chris Kattan didn't get along at all. And whenever people would write scripts for Saturday Night Live, Norm would be like, "Don't put me in the script. I'm the Weekend Update guy. Don't put me in any of your scripts because I'm not going to do it." Right? But occasionally somebody would. He'd read over the script, and if he liked it, he was just all like, "All right, yeah, sure, I'll do it." You know, if it was something that he liked. Somebody wrote a script. This is the episode of Saturday Night Live that was hosted by Pamela Anderson. Somebody wrote a script doing a parody of a very famous episode of The Twilight Zone, the episode where the girl has to get the facial surgery, but when she comes out, she discovers that everybody else looks like pigs and she's a weirdo. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a parody of that.
Are you talking about Saturday Night Live, or are you talking about the Twilight Zone?
Saturday Night Live was
did
doing
a parody of
the Twilight Zone episode.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I saw that Twilight Zone episode, and I was freaked out for weeks afterwards.
So with the episode, the girl who was getting the surgery was Pamela Anderson. The doctor who was doing the surgery was Will Ferrell. Sherry O'Terry was also on there as the nurse. And then the orderlies were Chris Kattan and Jim Brewer. Jim Brewer's the one who tells the story. It's great. And as Rod Serling, Norm Macdonald. Norm was like, "Yeah, I'll sign up for that. That sounds good." So they go to the table read. And at the table read, generally, people just read the lines. They're not putting on their best performance. They're just reading the lines. Right? So Norm Macdonald's all like, imagine, if you will, a scenario in which, you're not in the same place that you normally are. It's called the Twilight Zone, whatever. And Chris Kattan, who's trying at this point to impress Pamela Anderson, starts in on him. And it's just all like, "Oh, man, it's Norm Macdonald, man. He can't act. He can't do nothing. Look at him. His voice is all you. And Pamela, you're so hot. You're doing such a good job. But Norm Macdonald's screwing the whole entire thing up." So then they go to the dress rehearsal, and Norm, again, he's just like, imagine, if you will, a world where, it's a different universe and you're in the Twilight Zone. Oh, he's doing a horrible job. Pamela, you're so hot and sexy, but Norm is just screwing everything up. And everybody else that's on the, that's Norm, yeah. Everybody else that's on the stage is like, what? Like, leave him alone, man. He's just trying to do his thing. And Jim Brewer at this point is like, "Norm, this is the second time Chris Kattan has bullied you in front of the entire crew. Say something to him." And Norm's just like, "No." There we go. So then they go to the recorded rehearsal. This is in case something goes wrong. They have a show in the can that they can show instead of a live show, right? So they have a crowd there and everything. They have a studio audience for this, and they go in there to do that. And again, he's doing the whole imagine, if you will, and you're in the Twilight Zone, you know, and I'm your McDonald. And Chris Kattan starts in, like, you're doing horrible. You're doing a bad job. What are you doing? Pamela, you're so hot. I can't wait to do the scene with you. But Norm can't get your act together. And he's doing this in front of a crowd. And Jim Brewer's about to lose his mind. He's like, Norm, say something. If you don't say something, I will. And he just turns and looks at Jim Brewer and winks. Live show. They got the guy doing the thing. Is just like, all right, we're about to do the Twilight Zone sketch. 30 seconds. Norm, you got to come through now. This is Chris Kattan. He's like, Norm, you got to come through now. You got to do this right. If you don't, I mean, you haven't practiced at all. You don't sound anything like Rod Serling. Pamela, you're so hot. You're doing so good. You have the breasts and the face, and I just want to make out with you, and we should date later. But now, Norm, you're screwing everything up, and you better get it right. 20 seconds. Norm, I can't believe that. 10 seconds. And at the 10-second mark, Norm Macdonald turns around and goes, hey, Pamela, has Chris Kattan told you that he's gay? Yeah, he's gay. He's gay, and he's in the closet, and he won't admit it. And he just sits here, and he gives everybody shit about how much he's not gay. But he sits there and he tries to hit on all the women on the show, but he's gay, and he won't do anything about it. And if he just comes out of the closet, he'd stop being a little bitch. 5 seconds. And if he worry about what other people are doing instead of worrying about what he's doing instead of worrying about what other people are doing, this would be a better show. And we're live. Imagine, if you will, you're in a world. And he goes right into perfect Rod Serling imitation, and it's amazing. And if you watch that live episode and look at the background, Jim Brewer's trying not to laugh, and Chris Kattan will not face the camera. He's got his arms crossed, and he's just pissed the whole time. And it is one of the funniest damn moments ever on Saturday Night Live. And knowing how that went down beforehand is even better. Oh, man. Yeah,
And
Norm Macdonald's evil, man.
To do that right before the live part.
Right before it went live.
He basically said, hey, here's a bird. Why don't you eat it? Right in front of the live camera. I mean, it's funny.
Oh, man. And he even went on Rolling Stone. He went into Rolling Stone, and everybody in Rolling Stone, all the other Saturday Night Live cast members were going into Rolling Stone just being all like, oh, yeah, everybody else that I work with is great. They're all wonderful, and everybody's a great actor. And Norm just went after Chris Kattan. Just went after him. He was horrible. They hated each other. It was great. But that's one of the funniest Norm Macdonald stories. And Norm is just, oh, man, he's up there with Saget and stuff. He's filthy, but he's hilarious. He's hilarious. It's bad, but he's hilarious.
Hey, Joe Dog.
yes, sir.
Did you hear of the passing of oh crap, the attorney?
I'm the attorney. I'm not that guy.
No.
Wait, what are you
Damn
talking
it.
about?
I just had his
Hold on. Lewis will find it. Lewis is great at the news. That's what he's here for.
Lewis is our professional newsman.
Yeah. Whatever.
Well, while you're searching that up, it is time to do a little housekeeping here.
Bobby,
What were you saying, Lewis?
go ahead. Just do
We're going to do this first. Yeah.
Yeah. We are part of the Rising Tide Broadcast Network, powered by Rising Tide Publications, by the way.
That's a Brian K. Morris thing.
Which is Brian K. Morris, who was in with the show earlier tonight. The next show coming up is Comics, Chaos, and Sass on Heather Ellen's page. You can, I forget, I just drew a blank on who it is. Carly, if you're there, sort of give us the what pages, if you can remember them. And then Brian K. Morris, that's Sunday night at 10 p.m. Brian K. Morris's show, Never Mind the Furthermore, is Facebook, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m.
And YouTube.
Yeah. Look up Rising Tide Publications, BKM, on Facebook. Also, TED Talks is on YouTube every Tuesday at 10 a.m. and Thursday at 11 a.m. And then there is Creative as Hell. We got to get this corrected. It's now every Thursday at 8 p.m. And of course, Stupid O'Clock is every Thursdays and Saturdays on Facebook and YouTube. Michaela Jade's Tidbits and Scribbles is Fridays at 7 p.m. And of course, Nick Talker, we would have thrown it to Nick Talker if he was here, has the Historical Fencing Guild every Friday at 8 p.m. on YouTube. And of course, our Armchair Rocket Science is, we're the ones that you can't predict because we never know when they're actually going to launch a rocket, which is what we try to cover. And also, Brian K. Morris will have a new show starting March 1st, or the first Thursday in March, Thursdays at 7 p.m. Comics, it's a comic-related story. And Carly's looking it up, so we'll go, just as soon as she can throw the pages up, we'll get those up.
John found Norm McDonald as Rod Serling.
The attorney that just passed away was Bobby Lee Cook.
Bobby Lee Cook. Why does that?
What is he famous for?
What's he famous for?
Yeah.
Huge defense attorney in the tri-state area. Always wore seersucker suits. He was the model for Matlock. He is the genesis of Matlock.
Okay.
We live in
drove
Georgia.
around in a chauffeured Rolls Royce.
Yeah, I remember who you're talking about now.
I interviewed him a couple of times on different cases that he was on. He's quite a character.
Hey, Lewis, can I ask you a quick question? Do I get a bye for being the youngest person on the show to not know who the hell that is?
Yeah, because he hasn't been an active attorney in
is,
probably 15, 20 years.
At least 20 years.
Yeah.
I live in the South. Do you want to know how many people I know named Bobby Lee? Jeez.
Yeah, I know.
Dave may have actually heard of Bobby Lee Cook.
I went to school with somebody named Bobby Lee. Admittedly, she's
Male
not
or
an
female?
attorney.
He was made. It was.
I said she. She was not an attorney. And no,
And this
John,
guy was
I think I
94 years old, so
I have to admit about the whole attorney thing. It was a hazing for my school. It was amazing. It really was life-changing for me. I hated myself, but I mean, the only reason I was willing to take a chance of doing 3 years of law school, where if you don't pass the bar, you got nothing, was because I'd failed at the only thing I really wanted to do, which is be a musician in Nashville. And so I figured I had nothing to lose. I already failed at the one thing that I really wanted to do. And so, but our school was like paper chase. It was amazing. I mean, people were crazy. When we took the bar, literally, people would pass out and we would just walk over the bodies to get to the bathroom. I mean, we didn't care. It was literally that brutal. Which is like they just dragged the body people off. It's like, I was trying to do this thing. I couldn't concentrate. I'm in the middle of the bar. This is my entire future. And the son of a bitch across this little table, they had basically little tables. I mean, we were in a gym and they had, your normal 3x8 tables set up in rows, and we're all taking them. Son of a bitch starts eating crackers across from me. I can't tell you how close it came to launching myself and grabbing him by the fucking neck and just.
There was this movie called Real Genius starring Val Kilmer.
Yes.
And they were showing they were showing the end of the year, the final exams at the college, and they were all in the library studying it. And this one guy just all of a sudden threw down his pencil.
Yeah, just freaks out, runs out screaming.
And he goes running out of the library, and they like move his books out of the way, and somebody goes over and sits in his spot. And
Yeah.
It was that brutal. We could not care about life or death. Nothing mattered. I mean, you died, we didn't give a shit. Just get out of the way. We've got to pass the bar. It was the most amazing thing I'd ever done. It was a 3-year hazing, and I actually did pretty well. It was just we started with 200. We started with 200 people, and I had gotten a scholarship. I was one of the few people who kept the scholarship. I graduated 11 out of 100. They'd flunked out 100 people in 3 years. I mean, half the class had been flunked out by that point. It was amazing. But on the other hand, it has empowered me to feel like I can do anything. It really is a life-changing experience. Attorneys don't make as much as most people think. They really, if you want to make money, be an engineer, or a software designer or something. That's where the money is. Attorneys, they're a dime. But
I hate to interrupt, but we have to do something real quick.
What?
Go ahead, Dave. Continue.
No, but anyway, because of that, had I not done it, I would not be willing to do some of the crazy things I'm thinking of doing when I retire. And just because it really was empowering, I have to admit that it really just tore you down to the. I mean, it was a 3-year hazing, and our class was just unique. We were not supposed to be we were not supposed to be the Sharks. The class after us was supposed to be the Sharks. No, our class was the Sharks. When we got into the 2nd and 3rd year classes, if there was an A, our class did it. I mean, we got it. I don't know what their grade points did, but if there was an A, our class got the A's. It was just amazing. We studied all the time. We weren't unfriendly to each other, but we were just committed to just be. I mean, it was an amazing class. It was an amazing experience, and it was a little law school where they were. I had a chance to go to University of Cincinnati College of Law, but they called me after they had the orientation because they had some openings, and I go, "Well, are you offering me a scholarship?" No. Anything to get down there? No. They had already passed orientation. I would have had to have moved in 2 days from Toledo, Ohio to Cincinnati, Ohio, and start law school after everyone had already been orientation, which I hadn't done, versus staying at University of Toledo, which had offered me a scholarship. And so I stayed. And I have to admit, I'm glad I did, but we were not a tier 1 school. So we did not get a lot of offers. There were a lot of attorneys coming out of that school that were offered $30,000 a year as an attorney. I mean, it was brutal. It was brutal. They fixed a lot of things up there, but I have to admit.
Dave, we got to sort of cut you off because it's time to end the show.
What?
Yeah, we're out of time. 2 hours is what we normally run. And then we got to run our
world turn.
Yeah. So that is the end of our Saturday night show, which is now Sunday morning. Want to thank everybody for tuning in. Be sure to check out the other Rising Tide shows coming up that we talked about. And I guess we will see some people over on the after show. Lewis, thank you for being here. Dan, thank you. Skunk, John, appreciate it. Dave, thanks for dropping in.
I love the show, dog. I hope you'll let me in more often.
All right. Just give me a holler. And if we ain't got anything planned, we'll see you there. Good night, Carly. Appreciate it. And with that, we're going to say good night.
What's the
Good night.
I have slipped the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.